Today we are working on Chapter 10, Programming Challenge 1. And this programming challenge is to create a class called TestScores that would have an array of test scores. The constructor of the class would accept an array of test scores, and the class would calculate the average of those test scores. Also, the class should handle exceptions if the test scores are negative or they are greater than 100. So this entire chapter is to learn how to handle exceptions or how to check exceptions. So our job is to check exceptions that are test scores that are less than 0 or greater than 100. So in order to do that, we will create two classes that would handle these exceptions, two custom exceptions. So the first one we would say negative test score that would extend according to the programming challenge description. They said we have to specifically handle illegal argument exceptions. So we would inherit from that specific exception. We don't have to use exception class. We will use an illegal argument exception particularly. So we'll say illegal argument exception, and we will say public negative test score. This constructor will not take any argument. So we will pass some message to the superclass that we inherited here, and we will say error. The test score cannot be negative. Also, we have to create another constructor. We will use this time an argument. The constructor will take an argument, and again we will pass a message to the constructor, and we will say the test score parentheses amount. The test score cannot be negative. So one constructor doesn't take any argument, and we will just display the message, and the other constructor will take an argument, and it will display the offending number that is that's a negative number in the array. Also, we have to create another class called greater than 100 that would inherit from illegal argument exception, and this class would basically be similar to the one that we created here. So we will just copy this, we will paste it here, and we will change the constructor name. We'll say greater than 100, and here we will change here, and we will change the constructor message. The test score cannot be greater than 100, and here the second constructor, the test score amount would be the same, cannot be greater than 100. So that is it for these two classes, and we have to create the class that they want us to create. It is called TestScores, and this class would have a field called an array field called TestScores. The constructor, according to the description, they said it has to accept an array of TestScores, and we will say this TestScore equal TestScore. Also, in the constructor header, we have to throw the classes, the custom exception classes that we created. We will say negative TestScores, comma, and greater than 100 exception class. Then we will go through each number in the array by saying TestScores.length, and we will get each number here, and then we will say if number is less than 0, that means if the number is a negative number, then we will throw the negative exception class that we created. So we'll say throw new negative TestScore, and we will pass the number, the offending number that is less than 0, and then we will say if the number is greater than 100, then we will say throw new greater than 100, and we will pass the number that is greater than 100. So that would be it for the constructor. They said we have to create another method called getAverage. So we will create double total 0, and we will go through each and every number in the array. And we will add to the total plus equal to the TestScore here of I, and lastly we will just return the total divided by the TestScore depth length to get the average of the array. So that would be it for this class. They said we have to create another class to test these TestScores. So we'll create a main class, and we will create a main method here, and since the TestScore has two possible exceptions, we have to use try catch statement here, and we will catch negative TestScores E1, and we will get the message, get message, and we will also catch a greater than 100 E2 if there is any number that is greater than 100. We will say E2 get message. So we have to create the array, the int array. We'll say TestScores. So we will say 99, 88, 102.77, and then we will create, we instantiate the test scores, the test score class, and we will pass our test score array here. And lastly, we would just print the average if there is no errors. So we'll say TS here. We'll say TS get average. So here in the array, it should catch the greater than 100 exception, since we have passed a test score that is greater than 100. So we will test our program and see the result. As you can see, error, the test score 102 cannot be greater than 100. So that is why they give us this exception. How about if we pass a test score that is less than 0, let's say negative 77. Let's run the program again. The test score negative 77 cannot be negative. So both of our exception classes work. If the test score is less than 0, it catches the error, and if the test score is greater than 100, it catches the error. So we fulfilled all the requirements needed for this programming challenge, programming challenge 1 in chapter 10 in the book Starting Out with Java. I hope you guys find this helpful. If you have any questions or need help with these kind of programming challenges, let me know in the comments section. And if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe if you want to see similar videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.